everybody, Joel Nelson here, and I want to share with you a tip that's been passed down to me, and it's just a way to keep your rods looking good year after year, month after month. And if you're like me, you go from having basically a rod that looks with bright cork, brand new, to something that, well, within the course of a few years gets pretty dingy. Maybe you left it in the corner of the garage and neglected it for a while, a lot of dust and stuff piled up on it, or maybe it was in a rod locker and you actually even got some mold on it, like this one. There's a little bit of mold on the rod itself. I'm gonna show you a way to get all that stuff off and make it look just like new, and this is how I do it. I've found that OxiClean with a little bit of whitener in it, it's just their OxiClean White Revive product, really does wonders for getting that gunk off of the rod cork. And so I basically just take a tiny little scoop, not very much at all, mix it in a tiny bit of water. I've got a sponge nearby. I've also got a brush nearby if it gets really tough to get out. And I basically start on the first pass with the brush. I just kind of rub a lot of that in. So once I've got it basically roughed in with the brush, I dip the rough side of a sponge in, and that's where I'm literally just kind of sanding some of that material off, and the grit from the OxiClean, amazing, it just does wonders. And with just a little bit of light rubbing, dry it off, and this thing, after it's completely dry, it looks almost brand new. So I gotta tell you, this is the perfect example to do it with, because these two trolling rods are what I use for bottom bouncing trolling. And when I got one out, I have the other one out. So they're fished the exact same amount of time. They see the exact same amount of sunlight, weather conditions. They're stored the same. They're right next to each other in the rod locker. And man, is there a drastic difference between the one that hasn't been treated and the one that has. And you'd be really hard pressed if you compare it to the rod that's brand new to tell any difference between the one that I just kind of cleaned off here and the one that came straight from St. Croix rods. So I think it's a great way to treat your rods. If you've got some time, go ahead, put some OxiClean on them, clean them up, and you'll be good to go.